Well, we finally made it. The new Deltarune chapters have finally dropped, and personally, I freaking love them. It was such a blast diving into this world, meeting new characters and all this fun stuff. But man, the problem is the wait for these new chapters was so long. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who is completely forgotten what even happened in the first two. So today, regarding this big event, I want to remind myself and also you what the story was in those previous chapters. I mean, how can we go into the new adventure if we don't remember the beginning? So get ready, because today we are diving into the fun but at the same time creepy world of this world welcomes us in a pretty unusual way, especially if you compare it to Undertale. Right away we get to create our own character. That sweet freedom of choice, when you can create whatever you like and choose the options whatever you prefer. Well, do you like the feeling? Great, now forget everything you just created, because in this world no one can choose who they are. So from now on, our name is Chris, a quiet, kinda weird and the only human in the story. That's who we are playing as. And by the way, Chris also really likes knives and creepily staring into the camera. But we'll get into that later. Right now, our main goal is not being late to class. Thanks God we have a mom who can give us a ride, although we were still late. At school we have regular school activities, group projects, local bullies, the usual stuff. I was assigned to do my project with Yuzi. Not like I had a choice, she just was the only one left without a partner. Also, Alfie sent both of us to get some chalk, since for some reason it went missing. And as soon as I stepped out of a class, I saw exactly why the chalk was gone. When Suzy realized she got caught red-handed, she suggested doing something truly awful, you know, if everyone already wants her expelled. So she suggested making Chris look like a sully face, if you know what I mean. But she changed her mind, thanks goodness. I've only been playing for like 10 minutes and I already almost got my face beaten off. Let's pretend that didn't happen and just go get the forsaken chalk. It should be in a supply closet, though when we got here we couldn't find it. For some reason it was insanely dark inside. And I mean really insanely dark inside. Having given up on this chalk, we headed for the exit, but right as we reached the end, happened an accident, so to speak. When we opened the eyes, the world around us was completely unfamiliar. We ended up in the dark world. Where we are, what happened, no idea. But what I do know is, before something here kills us, we need to find a way out. On the way, I found Suzy. Thanks God she's fine. Given the situation, we decided to team up for now, because who knows what is waiting for us here. After a little walk, we found a castle. I'm very curious how it all fits in a tiny closet, but in it we met a strange figure who introduced himself as the prince of this kingdom, the Kingdom of Darkness, and addressing us by name, he asked us to listen to a legend that apparently also mentions us. Nah, I've heard it before, but on the other hand I heard it so long ago I don't remember. Fine, bruh. According to the legend, light and dark lived in balance and kept peace in this world, but if this harmony were to shatter, a terrible calamity will occur. Only then, 3 heroes will appear at the world's edge: a human, a monster and a prince from the dark. Only they can steal the fountain, banish the angels' heaven, restore balance and stop the destruction. So, why are we being told all this? Well, a new fountain just opened, and according to the legend, only we can seal it. Suzy wasn't really buying it. Well, alright, not exactly wasn't buying it, it just none of her damn business. And just as she was about to leave, a local fella whom I mistook for a sense in 2018 appeared in front of us quite spectacularly. Lancer. He realized we were going to steal his world's fountain and, like any true villain, told us exactly where to go to find it. After he tried to stop us, of course, but he failed. Then this so-called prince finally showed himself. His name is Ralsei, and looks like he's joining our adventure too. Wait, where did Susie go? Oh god damn, I can already tell she'll be a handful. Anyway, if the legend is true, we do need to steal that fountain to get home, but for that we also need Susie, so let's go find her before she caused any trouble. Didn't take long actually. Luckily, we convinced her to rejoin and now we are in a full team again. But instead of listening to us, Susie just started beating up every enemy she saw, because Susie doesn't give a fuck. Eventually, we caught up to Lancer. In his typical Lancer-like way, he goofily played the villain again. But there's one problem that he didn't take into account. Susie. Before he could even finish talking, she shut him up, mocked him by calling him a baby Santa Claus, and already in her Susie-like way, picked him up by the collar. And just as she was ready to bite his face off, he just smiled, thanked her for showing him how to be a bad guy, and ran off. Wow. Merry Christmas, I guess. After a few more rooms and fights, we met Lancer again, and okay, this time his badass act was actually better. Lancer even asked Susie how well he did this time, which surprised her. But then, in the middle of the conversation, Lancer abruptly asked what our team's name was. And honestly, yeah, we should probably come up with something, because until now, the only thing we've been called is... clones. Each of us tossed a name into a bucket. I picked the slightly crumbled one, and from now on, our squad is called the Squad. Oh my, okay, now that's a name I like. Ralsei didn't appreciate it though. A few steps later, we ran into Lancer again. Actually, we run into him a lot in this chapter, and usually I skip the less important parts, but this time happened something that can't be easily missed. Lancer sent this little guy, oh, not very little anymore, he sent this guy after us. The crown made it stronger, so we needed to knock it off. While Ralsei and I tried doing that through acts, Susie just kept beating it up. And the problem is that didn't kill it, just made it even stronger. And Ralsei tried to explain that she was making it worse, but she didn't care. In the end, we won, yes, but Ralsei and Susie got into an argument, because, seriously, we are supposed to be a team, but she always does things her own way. After all that, Susie had a realization. If she's such a bad hero, why not switching sides? So now she's teaming up with Lancer. Okay, despite everything, I still believe we can bring Susie back. So Ralsei and I pushed forward to find her and convinced her to return to the light side. We ran into her and Lancer a few times, and honestly, if they really want to be villains, they are hilariously bad at it. In a good way, of course. Just look at it, Lancer put on a mustache to pretend to be a different person. It's so silly. But I also noticed that Susie really enjoys hanging out with him. She even started worrying about his safety, which from Susie was totally unexpected. Anyway, we kept going until we reached our so-called final showdown. We decided to make a deal. We will fight, and if Ralsei and I win, Susie rejoins our team. But if we lose, we will have to become bad guys with them. And come on, I beat Pacifist Undertale with only 1 HP. If anyone can win this with the power of words, it's definitely me. And as I said, Ralsei and I were throwing kind words at Lancer so much that he just didn't want to fight anymore. So, by the rules of the deal, Susie is back on our team, and she brought Lancer along too, which honestly I don't mind at all. Just a bit more to go. The castle with the fountain is right past the forest, but Lancer tried to convince us not to go there. But when he understood we wouldn't back down, he suddenly left and lured us into a trap. We ended up in prison. How we are supposed to get rid of here is unknown. I even started eating moss out of boredom. Tastes like moss, by the way. But my feast was interrupted by Suzy. Thanks to her strength, she managed to beat up the guard and escape from the cell. While she was looking for a way out for us, she accidentally ran into Lancer. She overheard him ordering the guard to lock us up, especially Suzy, forever. All this time she thought she found a friend who could understand her, but even he wants to get rid of her. She couldn't take it, so she started beating the spirit out of him, but he barely fought back, which gave Suzy the perfect chance to finish him off. But she didn't. For the first time in the whole playthrough, she didn't want it. Lancer finally explained why he did all that. He didn't want us to fight his father, because we will just end up killing each other. After talking a bit with Suzy, they came up to a conclusion. Lancer will try to convince his father not to fight, and we will try to solve everything peacefully. Whether that will work or not, we don't know, but one thing is clear. It made Suzy think maybe not every fight has to be solved with an axe. So when Chris and Suzy were left alone, she told us that next time we are in fight, she will try to listen to us. Yo, we just witnessed full-on character development right in front of our eyes. But seriously, this is such an amazing moment of this chapter. A character who all the way was shown as a soulless jerk who did nothing but beat and threaten everyone, thanks to one hero, Lancer, was able to change. Although maybe it's better to say more like open up, because in second chapter we get several hints that her home life probably isn't very good, which might explain her behavior. It's nice that in a way Suzy joined the team for real this time, if you know what I mean. Oh, and by the way, you might not have noticed, but we are finally in the castle. Here we can find a very interesting prisoner. His name is Jewel, and if we beat him in a battle, we'll get probably the best armor in the game, but that's not the only reason he caught my attention. It's his craziness, unusual even for this world. After talking with his former partner, I found out that he used to be normal, but at some point he met someone strange, and from that moment he changed. He started seeing the world as a game and the others as its players. Sham, who told us all this, had to lock him away from the outside world, but even his view of the world has changed and it became darker yet darker. There's not much left before we reach the king. His lookalike, that guy, what's his name again? Roosevelt, Ronan, whatever, I never remembered his name anyway. Basically, he tried to catch us or something, but honestly, those attempts were pretty pathetic. And just like that, we reached the king. Right at the moment when Lancer was trying to convince him not to fight. But sadly, he didn't realize his father was a stubborn no, and he doesn't care. His father grabs him by the scruff and threatens to throw him out, while at the same time getting ready to attack us. But luckily, Lancer manages to break free. Lancer, I'm sorry, but simple words won't work here. We will have to try something else. Using my most brilliant strategy, just spamming defense, we managed to wear him down. The king had no choice but to end the battle and immediately say, "Oh no, let's solve this peacefully," like he wouldn't stab us in the back the first chance he gets. So yeah, there won't be a peaceful solution here. Wait, Ralsei, what are you doing? Thanks to Ralsei, the king managed to beat us up pretty badly, and just when he was ready to land the final blow, Suzy stops him with her axe, and Lancer came back with a whole army of guards and overthrew the king. Okay, well, I definitely did not expect this turn of events. Now all that's left is to say goodbye to Lancer and Ralsei, and finally... And we ended up in some abandoned classroom. Whether it was a dream or not is unclear. But holy moly, we wasted the whole day. Toriel is probably ready to kill us, so I quickly said goodbye to Suzy and rushed home, not even talking to anyone else. Except for...
Come on, man, just tell me who your crush is. Your mom. It is quite insane, bro.
Phew, that was a long day. And at night, Chris, like a totally normal person, creepily stood up in the middle of the room. Like a totally normal person, took out their soul and threw it in a cage, and like a totally normal person, pulled out a knife and stared creepily into the camera. I don't know what that was, but it looks like I am not sleeping tonight. The next day we woke up to Toriel yelling. Considering what happened last night, I was honestly scared to see what will happen next. But all that happened was Toriel scolding us for eating the whole pie. Okay, so what was the point of that knife? And all that creepy stuff Chris did at night. Will we get an answer today? I don't know, but what I do know is it's time to go back to school. Back at school we had a normal, boring lesson. Birdley volunteered to read a book out loud. Hearing to his reading was super interesting, and listening to this, my eyes began to close automatically. As soon as I woke up from that very exciting lesson, I left the room right away. Outside, Suzy caught up with me, and together we rushed to the closet to figure out if all that was a dream or not. And just when we were about to get the answer, Noelle suddenly showed up and invited us to the library to work on our project. Unexpected, but for now we gave her a creative excuse. We said we were busy doing crimes here, so she should leave. Which she did, but insisted to join her later. Alright, now it's time to finally open this damn closet. And the dark world is still here. Ralsei asked me to gather all the stuff from the room we woke up in yesterday evening and bring it here. Turns out that pile of stuff is the residence of another dark world, the one where Lancer and the others lived. Oh, and yeah, by closing that fountain yesterday, we basically destroyed the world Lancer lived in. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. While we were gone, Ralsei prepared rooms for us. Nothing special to say about them, actually. Bed, drawers... Moss! Oh, Ralsei, I love you. He really knows what I like. You know, that's really sweet of Ralsei, but there's something weird about all that. How does he even know what our rooms looks like in the light world? Oh, right, we promised Noelle we will help with the project. Don't want to keep her waiting, so let's head to the library ASAP. And at the library happened an accident, so to speak. Ooh, you know what that smells like? Neon Wedgie, obviously. This time we ended up in a cyber world. Makes sense. There we somehow ran into Noelle, but before she could even say anything, she suddenly got taken away. And the one behind it all was the main villain of second chapter. Serial number Q5U4EX7YY2E9N, or Queen. She, like a typical bad guy in any story, told us what she was going to do with Noelle. With her help, start dominating the world, and maybe turn her into her pawn. And after telling us all this stuff, she casually walked away. Susie and I were about to chase her, but then Ralsei stopped us. He said he sensed a new dark fountain appear, so he rushed over here as fast as he could. I honestly have no idea how he even got there, but the important thing here is the squad back together again, and we are ready to take on this strange new world. We explored here and there, collected all kinds of weird stuff. Queen kept trying to catch us using different tricks, but as you can guess, she failed every time. Eventually, we ran into Sweet Cap and Cakes. Why am I making a big deal out of them, you ask? Because this is the moment where Susie and Ralsei finally learned how to act on their own. Took them long enough, but hey, better late than never, probably. Anyway, after this discovery, we got to a minecart rail system. No second thoughts, so we jumped into the carts and rode off. And guess what? Queen. According to her, she had a plot twist ready for us. Noelle. Okay, that didn't work. She had another plot twist. Birdly. Okay, this one actually caught me off guard. He was supposed to catch us or something, but in the end we just crashed his cart and sent him flying all the way down. He will be fine, he's got wings. But the ones who definitely won't be fine right now are us, because it turns out the track isn't finished yet. Thanks to the junkyard, we managed to survive somehow. After we got to a crossroad, and when I was already happy thinking I'd finally have a choice in this game, Susie ruined it for me, just grabbed Ralsei by the hand and dragged him along. Alright then. Walking alone through the dark alleys, I met Noelle, and before the queen could catch her, Noelle joined my party. Since she clearly had no idea how battles work here, me and Viru-Viru-kun had to quickly explain everything to her. I think she got it. With this new knowledge, we continued our journey as a duo with Noelle, and at this pace, fate brought us to Birdly. For some reason, he thought Chris was forcing Noelle to be in our team, like we weren't on a regular route but in some kind of Snowgrave. And what even is Snowgrave? Anyway, well, Birdly tried to save her by starting a battle, but the funniest part is that not only did he fail to save her, but also hit Noelle so hard she passed out. Oh, friend of the year, no doubt. After that, weird fight, I met the queen, and whether I like it or not, so we all got in the car together and went to look for Noelle, even though she was literally sitting next to the queen the whole time with a box on her head. But the search stopped because of a traffic jam, so the queen sent me to fix it. It's probably not a great idea to leave Noelle alone with the queen for too long, so let's get this done as fast as we can. While walking through an alley, suddenly Spamton jumped out of a dumpster. A very extraordinary #1 rated salesman 1997, who started ranting something about how if we have lost control of our life, why not become a big shot? Whatever it means. All I needed for that was a deal. He gives me a hyperlink blocked, and I give him my soul. Yeah, well, even if I don't want to, a battle here was unavoidable. The key to beating him was making all kinds of deals during the fight. Give him account data and receiving 1,000 chromers. Oh yeah, let's... damn, wrong choice. Anyway, I managed to finish the battle with almost no bloodshed, besides one time when he did absolutely wreck me once. But in the end, I had to make some kind of deal, so he'd let me go. He said he'll wait for me at the junkyard, and that I should come alone. No. Well, it's not like I really have to do it, and the guy is kinda shady, but... Alright, I'll visit him later. Also, by the way, he told me to like and subscribe. Yeah, that's the hint, you know what to do. Wink emoji, PNG image. Alright, I have no idea what that was, but let's go clear the traffic jam like we were supposed to. I guess. After walking some more, Quinn left us, thankfully. Me and Noelle were left alone, and she decided to remember a bit of our past. Actually, Chris and Noelle spent their whole childhood together, but it's hard to say we are exactly friends. But either way, Noelle remembered how Des once promised to take her to a place like the one we are in now, and how once we went to explore the forest behind the graveyard, how Des wiped away Noelle's tears because she was scared, though despite that, for Noelle this adventure was something she remembered as a good thing. It was a pretty short and touching moment, and I just had to talk about it. Also, who is Des? Anyway, after that, we finally reunited with Susie and Ralsei, and now with the four of us together we headed to the Queen's mansion. On the way there, I couldn't help but notice how Noelle kept blushing around Susie, like she's... Ha, I understand now. So anyway, that's how we eventually made it to the Queen's mansion. Right at the entrance, Queen grabbed Noelle, and then us too, along with Birdley. Yeah, maybe walking straight through the front door wasn't the smartest idea. But even though we were locked up, I knew I wouldn't be stuck here for too long. I had an ace in my sleeve. And I mean literally in my sleeve. Boom, Lancer. If you are wondering how the heck he ended up here, at the start of this chapter he jumped into my pocket and had been traveling with us the whole time. He helped us out of that situation, and just when we were about to move on, Lancer suddenly said he wasn't feeling so good. Uh-oh, he definitely needs Ralsei for this, and we don't even know where he is, so let's hurry before Lancer gets worse. On the way we picked up Birdley, since he really insisted on coming with us, even though all he did was talk non-stop and disturb. Oh god damn it, he brags about how smart he is, but the funny thing is, if he's so smart, then why was I the only one solving all the puzzles and not him? Honestly, he's just as dumb as we... wait, hold on, he actually admitted it. When he was a kid, he was just a forgotten little bluebird. No one even remembered his name, but one day he beat Noelle in the grammar contest, and in that moment he felt it, being noticed, being in the center of attention. From then on, he became number one in the class. He liked it, even though the real smart one all along was Noelle, who helped him study. And if she ever disappeared, he'd go back to being nobody again. Oh, alright, now he doesn't seem that annoying anymore. We told him that even if he is a smart kid or not, we'll still accept him as he is. We just couldn't care less. And it seems like he really appreciated hearing that. Back to the adventure, we run into Ralsei. Whoa, what is it? Never mind, not the time. We need to save Lancer here. Turns out, because he's from a completely different dark world, he kinda doesn't belong here, so he turned into a statue. Oh, great, another reason to close the fountain as soon as possible. So now when the squad was finally back together, the first thing I decided to do was visit Spamton, as unexpected as it may sound. I was curious what that deal was all about. So apparently the deal was to buy some kind of key from him, use it to unlock a secret basement, take a disc from here and bring it back to him. So that's what I did. He transferred something on it, or whatever, and told me to go back to that basement and put the disc where I found it. Only then the deal will be completed and I will become a big shot. I placed the disc. Nothing happened. Or so I thought, until I left the room and ran into that. Making deals with this weirdo was a big mistake. He kept rambling about puppets, strings, freedom, how we could be so big we'll stand up tall and look into heavens. But suddenly his speech was cut off by Susie and Ralsei. A battle was clearly unavoidable, but luckily our trio came out victorious. As a reward, we got the second best armor in the game, but when Susie asked what that even was, those puppets, those strings, for the first time in the entire game, Chris, who hadn't shown even a drop of emotions the whole time, suddenly gets goosebumps, and when Susie asks if we are okay, we almost yell that we are not. But what caused such a strong reaction? If we remember Chris's action at the end of the last chapter, could it be that they see themselves in Spamton? Spamton always talked about freedom, about being just a puppet, just like Chris, and maybe that's why his defeat hit them so hard. Spamton is just a poor soul who wanted control over his life and did everything he could to get it, only to lose in the end. But what keeps bothering me? What made Spamton like this? It's clear he wasn't always like that, so why did he go so insane? He was like the rest of us, just a little unlucky. For some reason, his products never seemed to hit. Night after night, when we all went to the same cyber grill, he shut his mouth about making it big someday.
Someday I'm gonna be a big shot.
He started to get a little despair, but somehow he made the right phone call and found someone. Or was he found by someone? Suddenly, he got really good at his job. The clicks started piling up. He finally became what he always wanted. A big shot! He moved into a luxurious room in the Queen's mansion, started bragging about TV deals, big cars, big commercials, but in an instant, it seems like whatever was helping him disappeared. His sales dropped to zero and everything came crashing down. The day he was to be evicted from the Queen's mansion, I went to his room to check on him, but he wasn't there. There was only a phone hanging on the handle. He must have left in the middle of the conversation, because I could still hear someone on the other end. But when I put the receiver to my ear, there was nothing but garbage noise. At this pace, we made it to the third floor of the mansion. Here I met Birdley. He and Susie went to rescue Noelle, while me and Ralsei went to distract the Queen. While Susie and Birdley were off doing their thing, Ralsei and I were riding on the swan boat in a kinda romantic vibe and just having a nice time until... oh my god. Rudolph... I honestly don't remember his name. That guy blocked our paths and forced us to beat him in a minigame. The game actually was fun, but sadly for Ruxel's card, way too easy. We took a photo together and ended that little trip. Now we just had to wait for Susie. I wonder how she's doing. Noelle, under the cover of moonlight, asks Susie, what is this place? That question caught her off guard. Actually, at the very beginning of this chapter, Chris and Susie agreed that we wouldn't tell Noelle or anyone else about Dark Worlds. So Susie told her that it's just a dream, and Noelle seems to believe it. If that's the case, she wanted to spend some more time with Susie, so they rode the Ferris wheel and talked about everything possible. Even if Noelle really thinks this is just a dream, it will definitely stay on her memory for a long time as a nice wow. Oh no, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh no. And that's the end of the nice dream. Taking the opportunity, Susie jumped off to Chris and Ralsei, and at the same time Birdley started confessing to Noelle that, yeah, of course he understands that she had a crush on him this whole time at all. I have the same face right now. But recently he realized he found someone else for himself. A person, well, more correctly a monster, who is just like him, into video games. Susie. After such a glorious crash landing, Susie finally came back to us. Before the final decisive moment of this chapter, I quickly ran back to recruit Darkners that I missed. I just really want to finish this chapter as perfectly as possible. And after I was done with my stuff, I slowly walked up to the Queen. Turn on the music. Oh, oops, wrong one. While we were running around the castle, Quinn managed to catch Birdly and roboticize his face. As a team, during the battle we tried to cut the wires to free him and of course we managed to do it. Alright, Quinn is cornered. Seems like it's over, but then she suddenly used a forbidden move. Oh, whoa. But that trick didn't help her escape too far. All her actions, everything she's done throughout this whole chapter, it was all for one goal: to create a new world. With help from even just one determined lightner, she could make a new fountain and not be locked inside the walls of the library. That's why she captured Noelle. With her help... never mind. Oh, but Noelle wasn't exactly happy about being saved because holy hell, what is that huge thing? Obviously, we couldn't do anything to that robot and seems like now it's over for us. But Birdly saves the day. With his help and the help of the Darkners we recruited along the way, we managed to create the best group project of our lives. An insanely cool robot with the head of a duck. Here it is, the final battle. This fight will be legend. Oh, come on. Well, on the second try we managed to beat her, and now it seems like now for sure we stopped her. Am I right? The main enemies of the Queen won't stop her now. Finally, with the Noelle's help, she can create a whole new world that will make Noelle happy, but the thing is, Noelle doesn't want that. She's tired of being controlled throughout the whole journey. Queen was stopped by those words and saying to Noelle, choose the world that makes you happy, her battery ran out. The world that makes you happy. Wait, really? Why should we go back to the real world when there are so many adventures, so much fun? That's exactly what Birdly wanted to do all this time, and concentrating all his will into the blade, well, they stopped him. But he stopped him again. He reminded about the prophecy, chaos, the roaring he will bring with his actions, and that's definitely not the paradise he imagined. Oh, wow, even Queen was shocked by the discovery. Like, of course she was. She just wanted to make people happy, not turn their lives into hell. So that's how we all became kind of friends. Queen went to pack her stuff because, now she's gonna live in our castle. And we, with Susie, for the second time, are going to close the fountain. And we woke up in the computer lab, how unexpected. Noelle and Birdly decided it was all just a dream and quickly ran off to do their own thing because, oh no, it's already evening. But luckily, me and Susie had nowhere to rush. So before the end, we walked around the town for a bit, visited Ralze, talked with Noelle, also visited that one dude. And well, that's pretty much it. Susie decided to stay over for the night, meanwhile Chris once again started doing some creepy stuff on their own, and later in the middle of the night, when everyone was asleep, opened a new fountain. And what happened next, we will find out. Already found out, actually. Phew, well, it was really fun remembering all these adventures of Chris, Susie and Ralze, and it's really exciting that we have already got more chapters and the adventures will continue. There were so many unanswered questions, like why is Ralze so suspicious, what made Javelin Spamton so insane, and how does gas streaming fit into all this. So given the new release, I hope we get answers to those questions. But what kind of made me feel a little sad is that during the whole game I was kind of skeptical about the idea that our actions in this world don't matter, but each time when it seemed like we finally had a choice, it either got taken away or it didn't feel meaningful at all. Like, there aren't even endings yet, like in Undertale. If you decide to attack any enemy, they won't let you kill them, they'll just run away. Although if you pay close attention while playing, you'll notice that in battle, Noelle can cast a spell that not only deals damage like Susie's spell, but also freezes the enemy to death. Does Noelle like it? Of course not, but she knows Chris for a long time, they wouldn't want to hurt her, right? So as we freeze every enemy in our way with Ice Shock, we come to Sam Edison, who offers Noelle a ring, one that makes her stronger. But damn, the ring is super expensive, we can't afford it. Unless we force Noelle to take it by force. Well, thanks to us, she became stronger. All of this affects Noelle so badly that in the next puzzle, where one of us has to stand on a switch to move forward, Noelle volunteers to do it right away. Not because she wants to help, but because she wants to get rid of us when we walk past the electric field. But she doesn't do it. That's how we move forward. Enemies now will run away from us, but if they have already been spotted, nothing can help them. And on puzzles that blocks our paths, so all we have to do is tell Noelle, proceed, and she will do everything we say. Chris doesn't want to hurt Noelle. They are making her stronger. And when there are no more enemies left, we only need to go back to a certain place, and someone with a
familiar wish
will sell us the final ring. A ring that will make Noelle as strong as possible in exchange for pain. Does Noelle want this? What difference does it make if it makes her or us stronger? With this ring we run into Burley, who at this point is just another obstacle. In a battle we notice that the ring we put on Noelle immediately starts reducing her HP, because it literally pierces her skin. But thanks to the ring, Noelle gets a new spell, Snowgrave, and as soon as we get the chance, we tell her to cast it. Noelle walks away from us and Burley is left in the ice. We have done everything we could to completely break Noelle and make second chapter as horrifying as possible. The mansion now looks totally different. The Queen's portraits have been replaced by Spamton. The entire stuff is gone, the Queen no longer fights us, and this time we go to close the fountain completely alone. Or maybe not. Spamton stops us. While we were doing all those terrible things, Spamton managed to take over the mansion, the city, the entire world. And now we are taking it away from him, even though he helped us do everything we've done. Of course, Spamton won't let us go without a fight, but unlike the normal routes, now we are completely alone. If we somehow manage to get Spamton's health to minimum, he'll raise his defense so high that we won't be able to defeat him. The only thing Chris can do is scream for help. Chris calls for Ralsei, but nobody comes. Chris calls for Susie, but nobody comes. But when we whisper Noelle's name... Now we are back in the light world. Noelle quickly grabs her things and runs off, treating everything that happened as a nightmare. But unlike Noelle, Burley is still lying unconscious. Noelle thought he was just sleeping, but I don't think he'll ever wake up again. The only thing left for us to do is visit Noelle in the hospital. There we can overhear her thoughts, how even if it seems like a bad dream, it felt so real, and the voice that made her do those horrible things didn't sound like Chris at all, because it was our voice. the voice of the player. We wanted more choices. We wanted to keep forcing Noelle to freeze enemies, even when she didn't want to. We could have stopped at any moment and everything would have gone the way it was supposed to. But not even Noelle's suffering stopped us. Because of our actions, Bradley will never wake up. Noelle will have to live with that memory for the rest of her life, and we will still have to find out how this affects Yuzi, Chris, and maybe even Ralsei in the future. Is this really what we wanted? This video was really long, so I really hope you liked it. Between the wait for this video, we made it to 1000 subscribers. Wow, that's a milestone I never thought I would be able to achieve. Thanks you a lot. And just as usual, thank you for watching.